We're Hannah and Allie, and trust us, we're not your parents' financial advisors. We're your personal wealth strategists.
We're here to bring you the new, real strategic approach to building wealth that's as ambitious as you are.
Every week, we're diving into everything from investing your money and scaling your business to creating freedom and making your money work for you.
We'll share real-life stories of women scaling their business and their net worth to 7 figures and beyond.
If you're ready to live a life where you have the financial freedom to do what you want, when you want, with whoever you want, without any limitations, then you are in the right place.
This is the New Money Podcast. So Allie, I had one of my best friends in the world send me this reel the other day, and it was hysterical. These 3 women sitting there having a conversation, and it was like the mediator, the nice one, the blunt one. And she was just saying like, oh my gosh, each one of us have a very distinct personality type as a friend. And it's so true. And I think we've identified how there's kind of these 3 dominating personality types. And we wanted to talk about which one should your wealth strategist be?
Totally. I mean, it's pretty hilarious. We've all seen these types of friends in our everyday lives. I for sure had the Delulu bestie.
Oh my gosh.
Delusional. And you know, when you like really like a guy or something in your dating world and you're like, he hasn't texted me back in 3 days. Mm-hmm. He also didn't text me after the date. And the friend's like, no, like he loves you. He's probably just busy. Have you heard that? Well, you've been married, but
yeah, it's like, have I? I don't know. But it's so like that friend is the friend that will just keep spiraling with you and just antagonizing on one specific problem that you never really get to a solution for. Every one of your delusions is just like living in your head rent-free, and you don't have anyone, or that person specifically is not the one that's giving you any advice and guidance to get out of that.
Exactly. And that is so different from being a hype girl, right? Like,
yes.
Have you ever been really stressed about an outfit you're going to wear? And she's like, I know it's that time of the month, but you look amazing. Like, I've never seen you glow this way.
Right.
You know?
Everybody needs a friend like that. I mean, you want somebody that is going to pick you up when you're down for sure. And that's what the hype girl's role is. She is there to say, hey, I know you're in your head, but I'm going to help you get out of your head so that you can actually have what you want to have. You want to have a first date where you feel confident and you feel sexy, you feel fun, your personality shines through. And that is the role of a hype girlfriend.
She does not dim your light. She brightens it. She brings the best parts out of you.
For sure.
And then lastly, we have your tough love friend.
Yeah. We all need one of these, don't we?
We all need one of these.
Sometimes this person is, you just know it's hard to go to them for advice because they're going to give you their honest feedback. And I think about, you know, knowing that this guy is just not Mr. Right, but you keep going back to him. And then your friend is the one that's standing there like, honey, he doesn't see you for who you are. Like, you need to be out there with somebody who is making your light shine and bringing out the best in you. And you know that even if you decided to get back with this guy, she's going to love you anyway.
Exactly. And don't you think your wealth strategist should probably be like a combination of your hype girl and
your tough love friend.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, for sure. Because you definitely don't want somebody that is feeding into your delusions about your dreams and your visions for the future. You want somebody that can help you, you know, dream big, but also when it comes to your money, we need to marry a little bit of reality in here, right?
Exactly. Feeding into the delusions will just delay what you actually want.
Yeah. If you are making emotional money decisions every single time without any logic present, then we know that it's just going to be this continuous spiral, this loop where you're going to be in your head feeling guilty, feeling shame, feeling uncertain, unsure. That's why we need this logistical, realistic plan in place. And sometimes that has to come from your tough love friend that says, hey, we're doing things this way.
Exactly.
And, you know, this is just the way things are going to roll.
I remember probably it was 2 weeks ago where you had an opportunity where you had to be the tough love friend with a client.
Yeah.
And it was challenging because she was one of your really close friends as well.
Yeah.
Tell me about that experience.
Yeah. So this client in particular was ready to move into their dream home. And it happened a little bit sooner than they had anticipated. But at the end of the day, we had already identified that making a move, expanding their home, like really getting into a place where they can raise their kids and have a lifestyle they want to live was so important to them. But because it came sooner on the timeline, I then felt like I had to do my job, right, as her wealth strategist to be that tough love friend. Actually, when she first called me, I was her hype girl. I was so excited for her, and I still am so beyond excited about this next transition. But I was totally the hype girl, as the one saying, "This is amazing. Send me the link. Like, I can't wait to see it. We're going to figure all this out." But when it came down to actually thinking logistically through all of these next steps, I had to become the tough love friend because there's so many things you have to consider when making big financial decisions. And when you're excited about something, you know it's hard to hear the feedback, right?
Yeah.
That might contradict what you're already thinking.
How did she take that when you gave her the honest feedback?
You know what she has said to me to this day? She said, "That is my favorite thing that you have done for me as my wealth strategist. You helped me get out of my head and living in this world of like, oh my gosh, this is amazing." Because we love going there. We love sitting on cloud nine to kind of coming back down to reality because it was necessary to figure out all of the details and think through those super important pros and cons. And guess what? At the end of the day, the pros heavily outweighed the cons. And now we are just adjusting the strategy, getting ready for them to make this big move. And this is actually something that's really cool because she's put herself in this environment where this is now coming true. She's actually working harder than ever, making more money than ever, and all the chips are falling into place. And so now I get to go back to being the hype girl. And that is kind of one of my favorite spots to be, especially with our business owner clients.
I completely agree. Being the hype girl is so fun, but sometimes you do have to be that tough love friend. Like I'm kind of remembering this story of a client. He had a pregnant wife. He had 2 children and 1 baby on the way, and it was such an exciting time for their family. And we were so excited for them, but we had to have the life insurance conversation, which is you need to protect your family. I know that was an important goal for him. And what happened was his wife and him went through the process. The wife had some medical issues with her pregnancy, which delayed her getting her life insurance. And he was like, "I'm just going to wait till she can do it. It's way more convenient."
Ooh, yeah, not a good idea.
Not a good idea.
No.
And I had to tell him, "Hey, this is your responsibility as a father to protect your family."
Right.
It was a tough conversation. And he was like, "Whoa, you're so right. Thank you for saying that."
At the end of the day, you always appreciate hearing what the tough love friend has to say because you know they have your best interest at heart. And so this is why you really want to have a wealth strategist in your corner that does think about your best interest. That isn't just the hype girl. Now that I'm thinking about this more, I'm thinking about the advisors out there that are only selling their products to people because they get a commission on it on the back end. They are acting like the hype girl or guy in that situation because they're like, "Oh, this is amazing. We should do this. You're going to love it." When you know that it sometimes might need to be a little bit more brought back down to earth. And that's where I feel like we're so different as wealth strategists. We take on this tough love personality because at the end of the day, we love our clients so much. We want the best for them, but we want them to feel really good and confident about every decision that they make.
I completely agree. And I feel like when you're in those moments of life, right? Life happens. Maybe you've had something challenging come up in your marriage or a life event has happened. You want that person that you know is going to give you the honest feedback.
Right.
Can you think of a time where maybe someone was going through a difficult life event, maybe troubles in their marriage or something like that?
So we all go through things, right? We all have times where we are riding on high highs, and sometimes we have to go through those low lows. And I remember the story about this particular client who had a thriving business. I mean, they were just moved actually into their dream home and their business was doing incredible. And then the business actually started to take a turn, like we talk about all the time, that roller coaster that we're on. And sometimes when cash flow gets tight like that, you have to make adjustments. And while it never feels good to have to take a step back, ultimately we had to kind of go through what their current picture looked like, what they were spending their money on, where all their resources were going, and adjust course. And while we knew that it was temporary, it still felt really hard.
Yeah.
But I'm so excited to say that these clients are killing it now. And that's where they've come back to me time and time again and said, you were with me through that really challenging period. And I will never, ever forget it, because those types of friends are the friends that last a lifetime.
They really are. And, I feel like sometimes you don't have people around you that are asking you the questions. They're taking the time to notice these things. It reminds me of a time where one of our clients, her burn rate was pretty significant.
Yeah.
And what that means is, if you have a jar that's full of money and you take $5 out a month, your burn rate is $5 per month. Her burn rate was so high that she was not outperforming what her investments were doing.
Right.
She was burning through it, spending.
Yeah.
And it's not that she didn't have money. It's that she wasn't really paying attention.
She was depleting it really fast.
And she needed that friend that was like, hey, I'm just checking in. How are you doing? First of all.
Yeah.
We're not just your wealth strategists who are going to come in and say, you need a budget.
Right.
We're much softer than that. And I think that can be a lot stronger sometimes.
Yeah, I agree. And I know that you must have handled that with so much grace, so much just kindness and love and compassion in your heart. And I think our clients really feel that. And so if you feel like you're working with somebody who maybe is acting a little bit too much by feeding into your delusions, or they're not really willing to give you the tough love and they always want to be acting like everything is amazing, then it might be time to reconsider that relationship and find the person that can be that tough love. They love you anyway, and they just want the best for you.
I so agree. Do you know what else I value though?
What?
I also value when my friends check in with me.
Yeah.
When they're texting me like, hey, haven't heard from you in a couple weeks. How are you doing?
Those are the best.
They really are. And I think that's really important to find in your wealth strategist too. So we had a client who was securing his house by having cash in the bank. He had collateralized cash against this debt, right?
Yeah.
And he had this psychological barrier that he didn't want to invest the cash. And we told him, listen, your mortgage is only 3%. And you could be earning 5% in a cash alternative. So this is extremely low risk. It's free money on the table. And we had to check in with him maybe 50 times before he moved on it.
Yeah.
But he appreciated so much, because we're talking over tens of thousands of dollars that he made by just making that tiny adjustment to his portfolio.
Yeah. So the whole point of this is that you need friends that are going to be always checking in with you. You need friends that are making sure that we're still on track, that you're doing okay, that everything feels like it's in alignment. And if you have that friend that is just, not checking in, thinking about themselves, not giving you any of that good advice and guidance, then it's time for a change.
It's time for a hype girl and a tough love friend.
I would agree.
Yeah.